Harish Salve joining in today as well to talk about that verdict and its impact. Mr. Salve, thank you so much for joining us on Business Tonight. The division bench of the High Court has relied on the findings of the main Supreme Court order while ruling in favour of Vodafone today. How significant is this, considering you've laid great emphasis on the Apex Court's findings in your arguments as well?
Of course, it was a second. I mean, it is unabashedly a second bite of the cherry. Round one, they won in the Bombay High Court on the basis that there was an assignment under certain contracts. In round two, they wanted to tax the same thing again, this time in the hands of a different assessee. It's the income tax department. I mean, it's something like the blind man and the elephant, you know, somebody catching the tail, somebody catching the leg. So it doesn't, this is still part of what I suppose would be described as the legacy issues of Vodafone going on. I hope the government has better sense.
All right, the government has better sense or not, the courts certainly are heeding to what you're saying. But after today's order, which clearly sends the signal that the taxman had no jurisdiction to proceed against Vodafone, what is really the status on the demand that was raised?
Of course it goes away. If there was no transfer, where is the question of there being a gain? And if there is no gain, where is the question of transfer pricing?
All right, no question of transfer pricing there. But over the years, every Vodafone case has been keenly tracked by the multinational companies, many of you who you represent, and of course the tax community as well. What impact do you think will today's order have on investor sentiment, sir?
Well, the High Court has decided it. They have given an elaborate judgment. But more important, the High Court has said that this matter stands concluded by the earlier judgment of the Supreme Court. And it has set out chapter and verse. And as I said earlier, in fact, this is one of the points in which they had won in the High Court, which Supreme Court reversed squarely. They should have the grace to accept it, but if they don't, they bring it in appeal to Supreme Court, then the message to investors is that the tax department is still on the prowl, as it were.
Mr. Salve, the taxman was on the losing end today, but always has the option to challenge today's order at the top court. That would mean a fresh round of litigation, which is clearly not the need of the hour. What do you expect them to do?
Of course. See, let me tell you honestly, there were 3 points we argued. I have not read the judgment. One is that options cannot be taxed because they are not assets in that sense. If that point has been decided, it does raise a question of law. But ultimately, if this is something which is covered by the earlier judgment of the Supreme Court, then the government has to take a call on whether they accept that position, and if that is so, they put this to bed. Because if they succeed in the BIT arbitration, then this amount was one of the bases for the demand which is raised against the parent company, VIHBV.
Mr. Salve, thank you so much for joining us with that quick perspective on Business Tonight. Right here on ET Now.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNow Live. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.